right, well, in terms of remarks, and given that you have free beer at Barley Brothers, and I'm not going to stand between you and that beer for very long, I'm going to keep my remarks brief. But first I want to start off with some thank yous. So if you're on the Graduate Student Symposium Organizing Committee, please stand up so you can be recognized for all your hard work. I will come back to this committee in a bit, but for now also let me thank Peter for moderating. Excellent job, thank you very much, kept things moving. And I know that Shailesh or Dr. Shukla and Jerry have left, and I thought it was actually very nice and to have it grounded, and in fact the way it sort of worked out today, that it was sort of grounded in the Indigenous territories that we share here in Treaty 1 and close to Treaty 3, and also then another presentation which dealt with Indigenous territories at the end. And so thank you to them for having done that, and I won't have the applause since they're not here. But finally, Dr. Nezovich for her presentation. Thank you for coming and sharing with us. And she shared with the Food Systems Research Group, the steering group, yesterday, and so she's done good service while she's here. And I'm trying to see where she is, but I can't find you. There you are. Thank you. And finally, thanks to all of you, and those of you, you should all get door prizes for staying through to the end. So I don't think we really knew what to expect when we did this, and I know that there was a smaller event that had been held in the Department of Food and Nutritional Sciences, more to do with functional foods, I think, and I think that's what this sort of grew out of that. And again, it's sort of, I guess, a thank you to them for having expanded this to become what is now a broader food system sustainability graduate student symposium. But give yourselves a round of applause for staying attentive. And I think the final number was 110, which to me is absolutely phenomenal. So the Food System Research Group really emerged out of the Strategic Research Plan, University of Manitoba, and the Safe, Just, Healthy, and Sustainable Food Systems Research theme. And I think that when we brought the group together, and that was Dr. Scanlon that sort of initiated that along with Dr. House to try and say, well, if we're really going to talk about not just safe food or just food or healthy food or sustainable food, but we're really going to talk about those four things as having linkages and interconnections, the first thing we should do is probably start finding out who's actually doing research on food on campus. And I think as we've started this, we found out there's a lot of research going on in food systems. And there's many scales of research. There's many perspectives. Some of those are within tensions, and rightly so should be held within a tension. Some groups work closely together already. We had some presentations today from the Center for Agri-Food and Health. So there's some very strong collaborations that cross certain faculties. But we really don't have a campus-wide, and again, we're a research group, so a research initiative. And I should recognize, I think there's representatives from the Office for Sustainability here, if I'm correct. The 2015 workshop that was sort of run by Ian Park, I'm going to say, who I think now has left, really brought together the first group campus-wide. And out of that, one of the things I identified was that we should do something with our research and start talking across boundaries around the research. So that was sort of where that group sort of got together. And really we decided, rather than trying to over-define it, the first thing we should really do is just start listening to each other and finding out what different researchers are doing, what different research are doing. And as part of that, we then started a speaker series. And so I invite you, if you find this interesting, to continue that. We've actually now have a full slate for this coming year, and that will run through September, October, November, and then January, February, March. And within there, we'll have some external speakers who we'll bring in. And all of that is one part of listening to each other and thinking, where do we want the Food Systems Research Group to go? Now, an important part of that is the Graduate Student Symposium. So likewise, my people who work with me, we have very little idea of what's happening in other parts of the campus around food systems. And so I think the benefit, that's not just at the faculty member level, it's at the graduate student level. And I think our graduate students interact quite rigorously and robustly, but they don't necessarily connect up with others. So we wanted the Graduate Student Symposium to be an opportunity and a forum that students could organize, bring in the speaker they chose to bring in, and also have a chance to listen to each other. And I think this group has done an excellent job on that. And of course, we will be looking for volunteers next year to help organize that. So if you've been interested and you'll be on campus through the next year sometime, then keep tuned and you'll have your opportunity to become involved that way. So I'm going to end by saying the one thing we've learned through Food System Research Group is the work is incredibly diverse. And how we try to think about bringing that together, or how we try and have some collective impact is challenging. And so I think it's well worth taking the time to just have the type of diversity that was represented here, which I absolutely love the organizational structure. So good job on that as well, because first of all, I like the different styles of presentation, but more than that, I like the fact that you go from mirroring models to food sovereignty within the space of 20 minutes, and just like, whoa, trying to get my head around that. So here's what I would challenge us to. We work well within our groups, and we have big research projects, and we have very successful researchers working on food system issues, and we have very successful graduate student projects and exciting, innovative work. I think collectively, we have to think through that the University of Manitoba is one of the historic agriculture and food systems universities in Canada. I would think the big three are Guelph, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. I think we are being eclipsed in some ways by things emerging on other campuses and efforts and initiatives that are delving a little bit more into what some of the societal challenges are around food systems. I think the UBC Farm, which also would have a historic program in agriculture, is very well known. It has high profile. And I think this is one of the challenges we've been trying to think through, which is how do we have a transdisciplinary impact in relation to food systems that address some of these issues that emerge today in relation to things like diabetes in terms of indigenous populations and elsewhere. And how do we think about that and communicate it in a way that will increase our relevancy both, and as the leader of the Food System Research Group, I think I will say this unapologetically, where we are competing for some of the research programs and grants in relation to some of the very pressing developmental challenges at a global scale, at a national scale, and within Manitoba. And I think that will take time, and it will take time for us to position us in that way. And for faculty, our challenges, and the reason graduate students should be interested in this question, is I think that what will make us an exciting place to come and study things in relation to food systems. And so I think really that's our goal as a food system research group. And I think the graduate students committee that put this together has helped advance us along that pathway. I thought the material that they produced in relation to food system sustainability was novel, and we will allow them an opportunity to present in the fall so we can consider the work they've done in terms of how that may influence our thinking about where the food system research group should go in the future. So thank you very much. The beer is awaiting and cold, probably at Barley Brothers. I think there's some free tokens for 1 or 2 beers. And enjoy the rest of your evening and day. Thank you.